Happy Dia de los Muertos, YouTube. It is the Day of the Dead, and I'd like to paint a sugar skull in this new sketchbook that I made. I did Coptic stitching for the first time. Don't come for me. This was my first time, so it's not the prettiest, but I followed a tutorial by Lindsay the Frugal Crafter and made this sketchbook, and I think it's pretty cute, and I want to paint a sugar skull in it. The binding is pretty, I mean, it's tight. It's not the sturdiest sketchbook. And I used Canson XL paper rather than 100% cotton watercolor paper because this was my first time binding a sketchbook this way. But I don't hate the Canson paper, and I don't hate the way this came out. I actually used some hand painted or hand dyed fabric to cover the top, and some waxed thread there on the side, some green to match I had on hand. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to paint some sugar skulls for Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. And I started to sketch out this little one on the right. And I thought, you know what? I should film this. I got some past paints that I want to use too recently from ShinHan. So I thought I would try and paint this with just three colors, opera, the compost blue, and the permanent yellow. Also, some black and white. If you have like regular gouache or even just watercolor paint, that would work for this, and even markers or something. But anyway, I thought I would show you how I was sketching out this sugar skull so that you could sketch with me, perhaps, and paint with me, and I hope you do. So I started to sketch my sugar skull just by kind of finding the midpoint in my page and figuring out where I wanted the top of the skull to be and then where I wanted the bottom of the skull to be. And just kind of forming up the shape slowly. Once I get my markings, I then like to draw kind of an upside down heart for the nose. And I feel like if I then have a pretty good placement of where the nose needs to be, and I start drawing the nose about halfway in between the top of the skull and the bottom of the skull. So if you see, the top point of the nose is kind of that midway point. And from there, you can kind of figure out the placement of your eyes, which are just two big round circles, at least for sugar skulls, so for you to decorate. And then you can then connect the bottom, kind of decide what kind of jawline you want, and connect the top to the bottom, round off your skull, give yourself, like a joint for the jawline. I like to anyway. I like to kind of stick it out with a little curve there for the jawline. And then, or the cheeks, I guess, that's the part of the skull. And then bring it down. And everybody's got a different shaped chin. So, this shape will vary. So get to whatever shape that you like. And, yeah. And then I like to, as you see on the right there, I've sketched in just like a few details to give myself an idea of how I want to decorate my sugar skull or paint my sugar skull. So, Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, is a Mexican celebration or Spanish celebration. I'm not sure which. I guess I should have checked first. But anyway, it's celebrated as a way to honor the dead, and sugar skulls. It's a day of remembrance for friends and family who have passed. Clearly, it is not my holiday. It is I'm not Hispanic. I do not celebrate this as like a religious thing, but or as part of my tradition. So I'm just trying to share what it is that I know. So please look it up. And if you know more than I do, please let me know down below. I'm curious and I'd love to learn more. But from what I understand, it's a day to celebrate and remember loved ones, friends and family who have passed on. And in honor of this, I'm just going to take an eraser here and rub off some of the main pencil lines. But as a way, one of the ways to celebrate is to set up like an offering altar, and sugar skulls, like actual sugar skulls, are made as a way, from what I understand, as a playful way to represent life after death. And so that's why the sugar skulls are kind of a symbol for Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead. So yeah, I'm just going to start here with some of that compost blue, which is like a turquoise color. And I'm going to start just to paint in different features on my sugar skull. I'm going to start with the nose. And, sugar skulls are typically decorated really colorfully, and they have a particular look to them. They're beautiful. I have a few of them around my home decorating. I have a few, just because I think they're cool and they're beautiful. And so, yeah, they're lots of fun, and they're fairly easy and fun to paint and fun. So anyway, these paints that I'm using, they are by ShinHan, and they're pass paints. They're called pass, and they are a hybrid watercolor and gouache, and they're very interesting. I've only had them in my possession for a couple of weeks now, so I haven't played with them for too long, but they're very cool. They are very cool. It's a new type of medium. You certainly don't need that to paint this. I mean, really, any paint will do. And frankly, I feel like you could really use markers or colored pencils or something for this. Really, any kind of colorful medium. Ooh, you could even use like pastels or something. So one of the ways that I like to start decorating my sugar skulls is like by kind of drawing this half flower at the top of the skull. You see I'm painting. And that also gives me some direction and some form to the sugar skull. Because, I don't know, before I start, putting in the nose and the eyes and things like that, it just seems like a blank face or a blank slate, and I don't know really where to start. But yeah, this is a nice, relaxing project to sit and just make lots of little doodles all over a sugar skull face. So for the eyes, I'm trying to, trying to paint an itty tiny little bitty flower using my tiny brush that came in my ShinHan travel watercolor palette. Their travel palette came with this really nice tiny brush. I'll have to tell you though, it's super soft brush, so I'm not getting like the stiff lines that I was hoping to. There's not a whole lot of snap to the brush, so I'm not able to get the fine detail that I was hoping to. But I think I'm just gonna go ahead and block in some color here, and I think I want to use some paint pens on top of this for detail. ShinHan has recently sent me also some paint pens, and I think I would like some opaque touch pens. They're from their touch line. They're opaque markers, and they're like acrylic paint markers. And I think that they would work perfect for this. If you have paint pens, that's another medium that would work for this. I don't want to use just paint pens though. I want to kind of put down a block of color first and continue, painting with my past paints. So now, I mixed up kind of a green. I mean, it's green, but I added in some of the opera in there just to dull it down a little bit and dirty it up. And I really love the color that I've mixed here. In theory, you should be able to mix, just about every color from your primaries. And these colors that I chose are pretty close primaries, a magenta, a cyan, and a yellow. So, yeah, and I also like using those three colors because I think they're pretty on their own. I think they give a real bright and pretty look to artwork. So working with a limited palette is a lot of fun to do, something I enjoy. It's not something I do all the time, admittedly, because it's also, there's a lot to be said for like dipping into all the colors. But yeah, it is nice to mix with a limited palette and see where it takes you. So I'm adding in a couple of turquoise flowers here on the forehead. And I guess I'm able to get the detail. It's just taking a lot more effort than with like a stiffer brush. And so that's something to know. I mean, if you're trying to get detail and you're kind of getting frustrated with your brush, try a little bit stiffer brush, right? Because so often, how our painting comes out does depend on the tools that we have. I mean, practice does help, but so do the proper tools. And this is fairly tiny sketch here. I mean, gosh, the whole sketchbook is like 4.5 by 6, and this sketch is maybe, 2.5 inches by 3 inches. So, detail's gonna, take some time, no matter the size. I've just added a little bit of white to my pink. And you can vary, if you're using an opaque medium, you can vary your colors just by adding a little white or black to it and get lots of different shades. Add some detail for the teeth. Okay, this is looking really cute, but I think I could use some pen work. These are some touch liners, just some liner pens, and they're in the color gray rather than black. And I think I'm gonna start by just kind of inking the outside, and I think I'm gonna draw some detail as well. You can do that too. Not all of your detail needs to be paint. I'm totally gonna turn this into a mixed media piece for sure. I'm gonna, use some paint pens and we'll see what else. But I want to sketch in some cute like squirrelies and squigglies and curly cues, spirals. I think with sugar skulls especially, like the more detail, the better. And you can just add like swirls and dots and like, I don't know, like paisley shapes if you want. You could do diamonds. Oh, also here around the eyes, they often have kind of like a ruffle around the eye, if you will. So yeah. And all these little details really just, I think anyway, add to the piece. Very cute. I like how it's coming along. Please let me know down below. Are you drawing, painting sugar skulls? Do you like this? Please give me a thumbs up if you do, and subscribe for more shenanigans. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Aha. All right. All right, I really like how this is shaping up, y'all. I don't know if there's such a thing as like too much detail on a sugar skull. I'm gonna use my pen to give my flowers maybe a little dimension, a little rather definition. Yeah. Okay. I love the look of the gray liner pen. It was like One of the best discoveries. I just started doing that like this past year too. Maybe a couple more leaves. So this is like a fine tipped paint pen, just a black one. It's a ShinHan Touch marker. It's in like an acrylic paint pen. And this is, it just got a fine nib. And I'm using that to clearly color in the black of the eye. There we go. So this is the pack of pens that they sent me of markers. Oh yeah, this is perfect for the little details. This will also go much faster than trying to do this with a brush. And I can get a lot more consistent details with these paint pens too. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I think this is so cute. And now it's in purples. All right. I love it. I just want a few more details around the eyes. Maybe like a contrasting yellow? Yes. Yes. All right. I like it better with the black. What do you think? I definitely like it with the black outline. I wasn't sure if I was going to add that, but I like it. I'm glad that I did that. I think that worked out well. Okay, so Sugar Skull number 1 complete. Now to think about what I want to do for the second one. All right, with this second one, I think I want to do like a little bit different colors, and I want to try inking the piece first. So I think I might have, like, I don't know, we'll see. I'm thinking that I might have more clear definitions if I ink the piece first than if I ink the piece second, but maybe, or after I paint, but we'll find out. So this one I'm doing it first and we'll be able to compare the two. I also want to paint with like a different color scheme. And I'm going to start with yellow here. I want to try like, not necessarily a more muted color scheme, but not such a bright primary color scheme. And again, I want to start by like blocking in the big parts of the color because I only have, I think, like 15 colors in the opaque markers. In the acrylic markers, I don't have, you know, like a giant range of colors. You can mix them. But I want to paint with my past paints too. So yeah, and see what colors I can mix from what I've got on my palette already. So I am blocking in the color again. And I just love this shade of green that I'm mixing. And this time here, you see I'm using a different brush. I am using a synthetic stiffer brush. I'll link it below. I've added in like a little bit more pink to make it kind of that warmer olive green. And rather than pink flowers, I'm going to do blue flowers. I'm not patient enough to wait for my paint to dry. It's one thing I've noticed about the past paints. They have a little bit longer of an open time. They take a little bit longer to dry than regular gouache or even watercolor. I do like the definition that the black paint pen gives. And it is so much easier to fill in some of these spaces with the paint pen when I'm able to. So you see the color scheme is not so bright. I absolutely love it. I don't know. Which one is your favorite? Which one do you like better? The one on the left or the one on the right? Please let me know down below. I went ahead and added some details on the background here and felt like the only thing that my piece needed was some glitter watercolor. So I break out my glitter watercolors, my handmade paints, and add some final detail to this piece. And I am so happy that I did. I'm really, really thrilled with how this piece came out, and I think this is the best first entry into a sketchbook that I have made in my artist career. This is the best start to this a sketchbook that I've had yet. Thank you so much for painting with me today. Happy Dia de los Muertos, and yeah, I had a good time. I hope you did too. And until next time, everybody, take good care. Bye.